Well, no, you know, but yeah, it's too big.
No, I'm just saying that the EAS, you're right.
At least it's like, like, oh. Plain glass.
Yeah.
Leave that stairs.
That's a good idea.
Well, I was actually thinking of something down. Yeah. They're not supposed to be, but I've been using them for free. And so what I did, they become furniture.
I bought some in the beginning. $10, $20.
I like, but I like that. I mean, I can also get pretty.
Yeah. I usually figure 10, even though there's only 8, so I'm going to you know, there are 45 people in the table, 10 with their earrings. Here, boy.
Yeah, I found an email.
You got my email, Carol, on your pocket. Did you get my email? It should be a big, big.
She's gonna stop, I emailed back, so stop.
It's only 50-60 gallons, I called David. That's why. We done it, I looked it up, we did it 4 years ago, I looked it up, I had my email, but I actually went down and looked at it too, and I said, hold this stinky water. Well, this is actually where the, this was where the hose tower is.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we gotta figure out though, that's their cost, and we got to go through and come back. The only thing is, though, you gotta remember, we did find the pipe out there. It's which is.
Right, 6 o'clock. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. First order of business tonight is a public hearing to discuss the application being submitted to the State of Maine CDBG program for Economic Development Program grant. Purpose of the request is to provide Hotbox Incorporated with working capital equipment funds to support the new manufacturing and assembly retail facility. That's in the old Chevrolet garage across the street. We have a representative from Hotbox here. If anybody has any questions, anybody any interest, you might just give a quick overview of what you're doing.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Ben Davis, founder of Hotbox. Here with Pam Chandler, who's our office manager, and Mary Ellen Barnes from Lincoln County, and supporting, kind of representing the Department of Economic Community Development, who's helping us with the application. This is actually an extension of an existing CDBG grant that we got in our original facility in Noblesboro. We've since expanded on over here to Woolwich. We're 4 months in over here in your town, so great to be here. Pam is one of our newest employees and also a Woolwich resident, and really enjoying meeting the community. Essentially, what the grant is being used for is expanding our assembly and production space. We moved over here to increase the scale of our production, and the first part of the grant that we worked with Mary Ellen in 2020 was basically to get our plant up and running. We've seen a lot of growth since then. We're continuing that growth over here in Woolwich, and so the grant and the funding is to basically expand our plant capabilities and to also bring on at least 4 new employees from the community as production technicians and folks to help us in the shop. So that's essentially what the grant is all about, and happy to answer any questions about our operation or mission, or Mary Ellen can answer any technical questions about the from the government side. Thanks for having us.
What are the next steps in the process?
Sure. I'm gonna start and you can finish, or?
Okay, yeah.
So what we've done, we've been working, Kim here, we're pretty far along in the application process. So we originally put in the letter of intent, which was accepted by the DECD. We then have started the application process. We had one kind of kickoff meeting. Pam and Mary Ellen have been working hard on that application. Since then, we've got it most of the way finished, and we've still got some time before that application deadline. Essentially, we finish the application, we turn it in. But would you mind talking about that?
Sure, so we're aiming for October 20th as the deadline. So all the applications for this fall round need to be in by October 20th. So we're looking for any comments here from the public or questions as we shape it up to the end here. Also, I want to just mention that while we're optimistic because Opbox has got a great manufacturing and assembly process getting expanded down there, it's also a competitive grant round. So we're not taking anything for granted, so we want to make this the best we can. But I think it's a very compelling case because you're going to be really increasing your capacity with the equipment and working capital through this grant. But it's also competitive, so I want to just assure people that it's not a given here. I'm not sure when we'll find out. It'll probably be late November, December that we'll find out about the award.
So the next steps are essentially finish our work with the application, spread it around, make sure everyone gets to see it before we submit it.
Mary Ellen, did you say December you'll find out?
I don't think it's going to be late November or December before we find out, yeah. I think they have quite a bit of money to distribute, but, everyone's looking for funding. So, and to me, this is a great kind of public-private partnership where the company puts money in, the state puts money in, and jobs are created. So there's a lot of complications to the grant program for sure, but it's a really a kind of a winning partnership, I think.
How many jobs are you anticipating generating here in Woolwich?
So since we moved in the last 4 months, we've already brought on 3 new folks, and then this grant commits us to at least 4 more. But that's just a start. So we're about 13 people right now, and we expect to be at 25 within a year.
Now, have you partnered with LL Bean for those beach boxes?
Yeah, so you've seen those out front.
Yeah.
So yeah, LL Bean's been a great client of ours, supporter of ours, and so that program that you see there, we build those. Yeah, they purchase those little 8-foot by 10-foot beach boxes. We're at every Maine State beach, and then this year we expanded to Massachusetts. And so you'll see those here in Woolwich every spring and fall because they go from the beaches in the summertime where they're full of LL Bean goods for people to use for free at the beaches all summer long. Right now they're in for service, and we rebrand them for wintertime activities, and those will be going to mountains in Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts this winter. And we'll also, this winter, when you go to LL Bean, our newest project with them, when you go to LL Bean this Christmas, in the middle of campus, you'll see a 24 by 24 timber frame that we're doing with Shelter Institute just down the road, our new partners there, and it'll be covered with our Dura panels. So that'll be the first large-scale building with our technology that we're assembling right here in Woolwich. So that's a partnership that has come to fruition just since we've been here, and it's 2 Woolwich companies, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that you are working with Maine Cabin Masters.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a project that publicly we actually can't talk about the details until after it airs on television in January. But in January, that episode's going to come out. It was filmed here in Woolwich, so that'll be really exciting. But yeah, that's a really good one. And then another kind of highlight is we're building a unit right now down the road that will be displayed at 30 Rockefeller Center, right next to the ice skate rink and the Christmas tree in New York City, with a big brand called Corksicle this winter. Yeah, thank you.
And Ben has invited the select board and whoever else to go down and do a tour
in Rockefeller or something? No.
Yeah, yeah. You're letting us all down there. No.
Yeah, two things. Look, of course, invite the select board
Down
for a
to
tour. We're also going to be hosting an open house towards the end of the month. All of our, we've made pretty big investments in our assembly plant down there with some technology and machinery, and that's going to be all up and running and rolling by the end of the month. And so we're going to host an open house, and we'll send the invitation and put it out on social media and everything for the public to come see what we're doing. And so more information there, but it's going to be at the end of this month.
Yeah, I also just want to add, just in terms of full disclaimer regarding the government processes here, if the award comes, and we're hoping it will, then the town also is going to need to have a fairly brief town meeting to technically accept that award. And I think that that's probably something that you're still familiar with, whether it's a grant of land or another kind of grant. So we'll be following back up with Kim and you folks when the award comes.
Absolutely.
All right, anybody have any further questions or anything? If not, we'll close the public hearing and move on with our regular meeting.
Thank you.
Short and sweet time.
All right, first order of business tonight is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of 9/20/23.
I was not there.
I'll make a motion to be accepted as written.
Did you?
I did, I never got.
I have not even been downstairs, dude. I just got here.
Yeah.
And I did not, I know you don't have them. Do you want me to
I
go?
was gonna say, I don't have a
Fast?
copy, so why don't we table that?
Let's table it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so motion to table
Okay.
this
See
until
you
our
later.
next meeting.
All right.
And a second on that motion? Okay, those in favor? All right. Selectmen's comments, Tom.
I talked to Brian Carlton this week to coordinate the work that he was gonna do for the hazard mitigation plan rewrite. And so he's on board with the budget that we had worked out with the grant application. And I let him know that the deadline that we promised the state was April, the beginning of April. So he's on board to finish it by the beginning.
Will you be able to fill out that interim?
I can fill out the, I can
quarterly,
fill
whatever
out
that
the
quarterly
report.
Okay,
Yeah. That's it.
okay, I have 5.
Allison?
Real short. I will be gone, I will be missing the next meeting. Also wanted to let you know, I helped the city of Bath put together an informational meeting back in November on hemlock woolly adelgid. When they have posters, I'll be putting that on. It's a bug that kills hemlock trees, but slowly. Since we don't have a conservation commission, so that's, if you have it, you know what it is. Also, Jason and I resubmitted the sign application that we had to, for the LED sign out there. I left that on your desk, Kim, the copies, and I sent Jason a copy. We also have scanned copies, so
Are we gonna have to do that every 3 years? I mean, the state seems to think that they're gonna lose it every 3 years.
No.
Allison and I met a couple weeks, or 3 weeks ago and had a conversation on the phone with Supervisor Ray.
Yep.
And no, and I had a conversation with Dave Allen the night we were here for the water thing, and on the way down, and so no, it's just, somebody's lost something somewhere, and we seem to assure us that we're all good, we just.
I thought it was because of the design work on the intersection.
Well, it is.
Popped on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
But they have the same stuff that we have, so I'm really puzzled by this, and if it's every 3 years, we'll just get a growing folder.
So are we gonna keep a copy of everything we send them so we can just change the date and
That's what
send
we've
it
been
out
doing.
again?
We did before, we have everything from before, but they have a new form.
They actually have a new form, yeah.
They have a different form, and so we argued that on the phone, and just told to submit the new form, so.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, I've been getting questions about the referendums and whatnot. Can we post the Secretary of State's?
Yeah, we received the sample ballot the other day.
Oh, okay.
So there's some interesting questions.
Yes. Yeah, and there's a lot of that, so.
And they're very,
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, the Secretary of State's website, I can send you the link to it. Does a really good, I just actually went through it at several pages and explains each one and fiscal notes and all that stuff. And I guess if we have a sample ballot, maybe post that as well. Yeah.
Is that it?
Discount, yep.
Jason?
I just wanted, Devin Eaton reached out yesterday, actually, just to update a few things about Station 46. I think most everybody's seen that they started removing some of the pre-load material, and that will be ongoing. It's almost a year, and so they do it in cells. The road dropped at 30 to 40 inches. The temporary road has dropped over 2 feet, which I think you've all seen that. Anyway, they're ahead of schedule. He says that most likely within a year, or a year from now, we'll be on the entire new road, or the old road, new road, whatever. And then Reed may be done the following spring, so it'll be way ahead of schedule. The bridge on the old stage road got awarded yesterday to T-Buck Construction, and it's still scheduled for next summer. The DOT has given them a 90-day window to do that in, and the idea is most of it is obviously when school's not in session.
Have they met, is Reed indicated when they're gonna start on the bridge on this end of the thing?
What we'd heard before was when the preload goes, the preload is sitting where the other 85-foot bridge goes.
Right.
But if they're saying within a year we'll be on it, then they've got some work to do. But as you know, they've been setting steel and doing this and that and the other.
And also we would want to maybe coordinate their equipment still being there when to
Right.
take out the dike.
So Alice and I have talked about, or anybody who is invited obviously, but get together with Ruth and figure out where we're at on the boat ramp,
Right.
all these things that this grant money's are there for. And real quickly, Kim, let me know, or you, or the board know, I guess, that we received the reimbursement
Receive the
money.
reimbursement.
And Monday you
Yeah.
mentioned that, so that,
Yeah.
for the work that was done already came back.
Right.
So that would also mean that in the spring, we would want to be thinking about this, figuring out how to put this out to bid, but
Right.
septic stuff. So stay tuned, we'll meet with Ruth and let you guys know. That's it.
I really have nothing tonight. Public comments. Anybody from the public want to talk to us about anything? If it's on the agenda, please wait for it to come up. If it's not, we'll listen to what you have to say. Tom?
I have two questions. One relates to the mailbox drop box for voting out front. Is that going to be legal again for this voting season in November?
Yes, it will. As soon as absentee ballots are available on Monday, then it will have the information showing that it's the absentee ballot box.
And will there be any videos to confirm who drops
No, we do not have a video camera on that.
envelopes in there?
No,
And that's still legal?
unfortunately it is.
Just want to make it a matter of record.
Well, and
That's
also,
legal.
but also people mail in those, right?
Right.
So it's no, yeah, I'm just saying it's a similar process, right? You could be in Florida and mail your
Well,
absentee ballot.
just thinking in terms of the volume, that could take a pile of votes versus what most that I've seen are just single ballots that can get into a box rather than 100 at a time or something like that, since it's more like a mailbox out there. Just curious.
They're all signed daily.
Pardon?
They're all
Pick them up daily, yes. They have to be signed before they're accepted by the voter.
Well, technically, yes. That's true.
Technically, they have to by law.
Technically, yes.
We can't accept it unless it's
But
signed.
you've probably seen the videos where there've been hundreds dropped in a box at the same time. Maybe you've seen that, I don't know.
Tom, if we get 100 ballots with your signature on it, we're gonna throw 99 of them away.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. But
Okay.
the second question I have pertains to whether Allison has found anything on the CDC main data as far as virus information and the data for viruses over the years.
And I totally dropped the ball on that. I tried to, I know you and I talked over the summer, and I have dropped the ball. I thought of it a couple times, like, oh, I need to reach out to Tom, and then, but it's usually in the middle of the night or when I'm in the car. So can you if you give me your email or your phone number, I'd be happy to call you and I can refresh my memory as to what it is that you need. You want me-
I'll send you a note to that effect.
Okay.
I checked in 5 minutes on the information that the CDC site has,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a very technically detailed description of whatever they are, but nothing with any information that you can relate to, good history information.
Okay.
It's very nebulous.
Is this the main site,
The
right?
main site, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That would be great. My apologies. The summer kind of got away from me. But if you send me a note, then I'll have it and we'll get back. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Okay.
I forgot to put my information.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
will- We
I
will have
noticed
our
that, so
town administrators
Sorry.
report.
I put my stuff.
I actually love this, by the way.
Do you?
I do.
Perfect. First things first, the trash situation that we're dealing with, people bringing trash over. I reached out to DEP and talked to a lady that deals with solid waste. And I had asked her if there was any type of law that it's against to bring trash over state line, or even a town line. And she said, no, technically there is no law like that because they have haulers that go out of state. But she did,
Or county. you know,
or county,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But she did give some information that, obviously we do have a solid waste ordinance that we would just need to tweak to show that we would impose fines if there was any type of violation on that. But she also mentioned that that is also a theft of service. I had reached out to MMA Legal, I have not heard back from them yet, but they're kind of a gray area, and I think they're just gonna tell us that we need to have an ordinance to do that. And your suggestion of reaching out and having our attorney write them a letter would be probably more beneficial, I think.
I think so. I think we should have have our attorney send a letter to the people that we know are the known offenders to say that, it doesn't make sense to have your relatives bring all that trash to Woolwich because it's free, because it's not free. But,
We currently do have a solid waste ordinance.
We do.
And I'm sure that, I'm guessing, but I'm sure that somewhere the statement is it's for the benefit of the town of Woolwich, and it's, so somewhere in there,
Yeah, I read it yesterday, and there was nothing in there that says anything about,
Right.
well, I think we should work on drafting language that says that
Right.
it is against the town's ordinance. We'll have to change the ordinance, it'll have to go before the Springtown meeting. But we should, before then, we should get some language saying that it's a violation and maybe put a $50 or $100 fine on it or something like that. I don't know who's going to enforce it, that's the problem. Without our own
Right.
police force or our own constable, who's going to go out
No, except for our local trash.
and enforce it,
So our previous appointment of Tony was
No,
not valid?
That was in the works.
I don't think that's actually valid. Although we do have a nifty hat downstairs that says special police on it.
I went to the MMA convention today. I ran into Patrick Lloyd from CMP, and he had asked how the streetlights were working. He did ask if we wanted to put a shield on the one that's down at the park, because he noticed when he was driving by, it shines on Route 1, and he thought that might be a hazard. It kind of looks like streetlights, or not streetlights, but car lights, headlights.
It really lights up the park, though. If they could put a shield on it that wouldn't stop, I like the way it really lights up the park, but if it could, maybe direct it differently.
I can talk to him and see.
Yeah, the morning I met with your grandson, right? The
Yes.
CMP rep, it was sort of like, you can either tip it up, tip it down, see how it
Yeah,
works.
he said he left them, they're tight enough so they won't move on their own, but he said he could come down with a pole and tweak them
Adjust it, maybe
any
that's all that needs
direction
to be
we
done.
want.
That's all that needs to be done.
Have you, in your nighttime travels, anybody knows?
I'll check with my contact with
This
CFP.
one.
He can come down.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Yeah, he just noticed that you could see the light from Route 1 and thought maybe. I also spoke with 3 different banks about credit cards, and Northeast, they do municipal credit cards without, you have to submit your personal information, but they don't do any kind of personal credit checks, but you have to have an account with them. Camden Bank also does, which I will have a conversation with their rep tomorrow or Friday. And Androscoggin does as well. I kind of was leaning towards Androscoggin, and the lady that does the credit cards was not there. So I will talk to her on Friday.
Where's the
So
closest
hopefully-
branch?
I would say well, Camden is in.
Camden's in Bath.
Wisconsin.
Camden by Shaw's, and there's one in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I will reach out to Camden, and see,
And those you
what they
don't,
can offer.
we don't need an account with those?
No. Yeah. And.
Great,
that's all
thank
I
you.
have.
And you have a copy of this draft policy?
I did, yeah, I got that.
You could split.
Oh, I did have a question on it though, because on, 2, you have D, the credit limit, and it says 3,000 for each individual card. Are you still doing the $1,000 purchase policy where you have to have approval?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do a $3,000 limit?
I thought that's what we decided at the last meeting,
Yeah.
$3,000.
Yeah, I think we did.
Well, to do a purchase over 1,000, you would still need to get a go-ahead
Well, yeah, or
ahead of time.
if you had 3 purchases of 600, right?
Okay.
Or whatever you be.
I can't get my copy, so.
Yeah. hopefully.
Oh, sorry.
It was 10.
But are we talking 3 car, I mean, the only thing I noticed real quickly is 10,000 and 10,000 is the limit, 3,000, so that would only be, is it
It should
3
be
cars?
9 or 12.
Yeah, 9 or 12, is it, are we looking at
Right.
just 3?
I don't think, we didn't talk about that last time.
If we're only talking 3 cards, so why don't we just make it a 9,000?
12 or 9, make it 9.
But, I liked Andrew Scoggin because she said that you can go online and pay that, and each person that has a card has their own separate account, so it will show
That,
what they're spending.
I think
And
that's.
that's why I like Andrew Scoggin.
It should, yeah, it should,
That's nice.
hopefully they would all do that.
I would
because
hope so.
The,
But I didn't talk to the rep from Camden Bank, so I'll get that information hopefully by the
That would be
next
great,
meeting, or if not sooner.
thank you.
Sorry.
All right. All right, road commissioners report. Mr. Shaw, sir.
We just, we've got patching, grading, and painting roadside for all of the roadside. I'm still waiting for the paving people. I met with them a week or so ago. We're still on the schedule. I also had a call from Linda James about she'd like to put a guardrail at the end of the road down here. Her statement was that she's been used to walk the other way for 60 years, and now she has to go down the hill. She's afraid she'll go to the drink.
We're at the bottom, just before you get to Barley Neck.
We're down, go down the hill down here, and yeah, she's afraid she's going to,
Huh.
and I said, well, that's, well,
Right, you mean the bottom of the Quasit because she
Yeah.
used to take George, right? But the road's gonna move.
but at any rate, all I suggested was perhaps you might want to go slow enough so you don't slide in front. And I'd bring it to your attention.
Is that what not after reelection?
I don't vote for that really. DOT doesn't like fixed objects, and I don't see it's been a problem, but.
Is that that's their opposition to the guardrails, is the fix, that it's fixed?
Well, I know in the past, we've discussed this, you know, anything people can hit
Yeah.
is,
Guardrails are tricky, you know, they're very, very expensive, they have to go through criteria, once you start that whole thing, and you know, nothing's wrong,
Yeah.
it's just how much can you do?
once you put one out,
Safety wall, huh?
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like striping the road. Once you do it,
Yeah.
you're committed to it, you have to do it.
I did reach out after that car that went off in front of Terry Hannah's, I did reach out to DOT about our guardrail, I have not heard anything.
Well, I was actually gonna, while you mentioned that, I was gonna leave on Devon a little, because they striped this piece of road out here, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the temporary road,
Yeah.
obviously, through the construction, we in the future, but obviously it's all gone, but there's, once you stripe a road, you're committed to restriping it, or whatever. but-
Is that a law?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
But where you're speaking about, up on the middle road,
Yeah,
where the cow went over there,
yeah,
that is a very dangerous spot. It really is.
yeah, I mean, we looked at
If
like
you
the
lose a
road
guy out
tips.
there, you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, yeah, there's a ravine and then there's the
Yeah.
pond, and, yeah, we walked back and forth on that. Anyway, I'll let you know when I hear back from them.
Anything further for Jack? Okay, thanks, Jack. Codes officer. Chris says that Bailey Bluff he's waiting for Jorgensen's landscaping proposal. He's hoping the next week it will be produced. He'll run it by Walter Armstrong. His hope is that the homeowner's signature on the proposal for work to be done, and then the town will decide its next action regarding court proceedings. 1501 Middle Road, that's the store that's being converted to I guess, an apartment building. He's talked to, the then code officer said no permits were required based on the fact that it was all interior work, but didn't realize that there was gonna be more bedrooms and more bathrooms added, so that they do need a plumbing permit. And he says he's trying to find a septic design for the property, but he can't find it as yet. Overboard discharge, he's working with DEP to locate all overboard discharges in Woolwich in order to start a file and keep tabs on them.
Is that something the state has?
And he just received a renewal application for 6 Old Stage Road as part of a public notice process. Bridge work, he received a call from Maine DEP regarding a complaint that they received about road dust from the bridge, work on the bridge. DEP says it's a valid complaint, and they should be addressed. They'll send it in the appropriate aspects of the state statute, and once he receives it, he'll reach out to read about appropriate measures. I wonder, was that about the bridge, or was that
I
about?
thought it was,
That's
I thought
about
it was
the
the
water.
faucet.
Yeah, I think it's an Aquatic.
Well, I had a conversation with Chris about that,
Okay.
and he had asked if anybody had said anything, and I said, we had a gentleman,
Jerry
Crabtree, yeah, come in, and he said that he contacted DEP because of it, because he
Yeah.
called Ranger and they hung up on him, so he called DEP.
You didn't
so
just
they-
walk out there because they were across the road?
Yeah, so I discussed that with Chris, and so he was a little confused, and he was gonna check up and see that, somebody said it was read and read,
No, I don't think it was real.
but
No, it's not Reed. I'm pretty sure it's Ranger.
I think so too.
Quick side story here. Barbara and I went out for breakfast the other day at a cafe over in Wiscasset, and Jerry and one of his neighbors happened to be there, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I didn't even finish my breakfast. I mean, I get yammered. It was just ongoing the whole time we were in the restaurant, so. And I think he has a valid complaint. He said the dust was so bad that he could not breathe in his house,
Yeah,
you know, so. And he originally went out and asked whoever was running the sweeper if they could put down calcium chloride. They told him they didn't have time to do that. So then he asked about wetting the road, and I guess they just laughed and drove away, so that's what he called
I'm glad,
DEP.
we should have him call DEP in the future, because none of us have a hard
I
time.
know.
Easy time
So
reaching
anyways,
them.
I noticed now that they are wetting it before they sweep.
Yeah. Yeah,
There was watering going on today that I saw when we come over
Yeah.
here. And secondly, I think that there's a tremendous dust problem down here on the bridge where they're hauling off the overburden of
yeah.
Preload material, yeah.
the preload material.
Yeah.
Yesterday, at one point, you couldn't even see across there, so that's,
So
Where are they
maybe it
hauling
was, maybe we've got 2 of them going on.
I don't know, I'm just
Looks like it's
suggesting
going out
that.
of town.
Where's that going?
All I'm doing is observing. It looks like
It's not going to
Reed-
industrial park.
no, it looks like Reed retained a contractor who was loading it and taking it.
It's going beyond that.
It's going up across the bridge, yep.
well, one of the things we ought to talk to Chris about is the ADU law, the housing law that passed last year that gave us until next year to update our ordinances regarding accessory dwelling units. Maybe do you guys mind if I reach out?
No, please do, but it's just, we have to retain some kind of home rule as far as like down in Saginaw Ferry down there. I mean, how are we gonna put on an accessory dwelling on a lot where the house that's there now, the house and the septic tank takes up the whole lot now, you know?
It would be good, because Chris worked on this with arousing, and so it would be good to get his perspective, maybe invite him if he can make it to a workshop, so we can get clear about what's allowed, because I'm kind of vague on it. I mean, I
Seems
know
like
some
he's-
things, and he's also gonna be working on it with Georgetown, and,
He's up to speed.
yeah,
And then maybe the planning board.
yeah.
I mean,
planning board needs-
Planning board definitely needs to, because,
You know, a lot of our lots in town are 2, 3, 4, 5 acres.
Yeah.
And that's not a big deal. For
Yeah.
downtown, they're 200, 300, 400 square feet.
Well, you
That's
can't
not a big
make the property more non-conforming
approved form, from
Yeah,
what I understand.
that's
It
right.
wasn't a final law that passed, yeah.
That's right. And the other thing is, having the town with no public sewer, all private septic systems, you still have to meet plumbing code.
Right,
You and I
right.
read through all that, so you can't have a three-bedroom house, three-bedroom system, and a one-bedroom house and just hook it up. It's not allowed.
Okay.
So the code officer obviously is the front line on seeing that, but it may get,
The other, yeah.
Portion.
That's the concern of what's going on all up on 1501 Middle Road.
right.
Is that it
Exactly.
added,
Well, that right there, yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about it, but right there, it's like, how many bedrooms did you have, what do you have, if you have a system that's,
Well, when it was a
Recorded.
store,
Right.
it was just a half bath.
and that was in the eighties, right?
Right.
And so,
And I doubt it, and I think it's still the same septic system. I
Yeah.
don't remember anything being changed. Okay. EMS director, Danny.
Woolwich responded to 30 calls in September, in a busy
30?
month. Had 29 patients, we got, called off some times. 16 transports, we called for MC1 5 times. We've already had 6 calls in October as of yesterday. We have none today, thankfully. But it was a busy weekend. We transported 5 of those, of the 6, so we've been very busy. Current count, we have about 282 calls this year, with 99 of those being in the current fiscal year. So we're doing more than one a day right now. It's picked up a bit. So not dramatically over what we estimated, but it's a little higher. We've also been putting multiple new providers through orientation. We have 3 currently going through preceptorship as a third on a shift to make sure they know our trucks. And one that is just released from that. She's taking shifts on her own now, which is nice. We have 2 people, one just today and one last week, interested in possibly applying, a paramedic and I'm not sure what this, a basic. And we have 2 people from town, in town, who have been going through the basic EMT class in Wisconsin. They have 3 classes left. They should be done like within the month. So that will be local people standby that we can use for night shifts and the like. So we are getting a lot more personnel and it's alleviating some of the pressure on the rest of us. I actually got a day off last week. Great. I still came in here, but worked. But also, we're in the process, we're submitting our annual service license renewal, something we have to do every year, and they're asking a lot of questions this year about flu vaccines, so I'm going to have to compile that data and get the...
I mean, who has had them?
Yeah, that as of November 1st, every EMS provider is required to have it or have a medical exemption, which wasn't required in the past, so I'm having to make sure. We also do need the credit card. They no longer allow invoicing for service license renewal as of this year. So we will need the credit card to, when I submit the application, which needs to be done in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So there's another thing that's coming up that due to change in legislation on the state level, which now will, as of January 1st, will require insurers to, insurance companies to pay 200% of the Medicare rates, which is higher than what, that's been temporary during COVID, they're making it permanent. But part of that is after January 1st, we will not be able to raise our rates more than 5% a year to reach that 200%. So I've been looking at our billing rates, and some of them are way below even that 200%. And I'm not saying jack up our rates to the max, but to a reasonable level. And I've been looking at the numbers. I've talked to the billing company. I'm talking with other services around here to see what their rates are. Ours are lower than most. So to be able to adjust this, but once I get that information, it might be something we have to act on fast, because if we don't have it by January 1st, we can't, if we're, $800 less than on some type of thing, we're only going to be able to raise that a very low amount a year. So, and as soon as I get more information on that, I will bring it.
But doesn't, if
My
we
question
raise,
would be, would we have to have a town meeting?
That is my
I was gonna
question as
ask
well.
you,
I wasn't sure, and I mean, the problem is, we just found out about this, I found out about 4 weeks ago, and I've been working on getting this data.
I'm
It's
pretty
not-
sure we'd have to have a
Yep.
special town meeting to get that approved.
So and again, transparency, I've been working on this and trying to find and to clarify this new legislation law, language of these is sometimes.
Again, we're not the legislative body of the town, the
Yes.
town meeting is.
No, I know, but I'm talking about the state legislative law, like what this
But I mean.
this bill is actually saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I'm just letting you know that I'm working on this and I'll present it as soon
Yeah,
as I
keep us
can.
informed, let us
Yeah.
know what's going on. If we have to schedule a special town meeting, I guess we'd have to do that.
And I wish we had more time, but that's the date they set for it,
Well,
so,
there's a certain amount of time that it takes to schedule a
No, I know.
town meeting too.
I
so,
know.
you know.
it's, and again, this was something that's out of my hands, you know.
Can you have a
Also,
question about that? You sounded like you had a question about.
I was actually gonna
Okay.
ask the same
Okay.
thing about, you know, having a special town meeting.
We-
I actually do have a question, so if it has to be done by January 1st, even if we put it on the annual town meeting in April or May, that can't,
we couldn't raise our, after January 1st, we couldn't raise our rates by more than 5% a year.
but if we don't, if we change the ordinance and just put it on the warrant, to change, you know, the ordinance in the warrant, then that January 1st, we would have to go a year, right, without raising the rate?
I'm not
And
sure,
then
again,
effective January 2024, then it would be, or sorry, 2025, it would be effective. I'm just
we
curious.
just
Well,
couldn't, as of,
You can't raise it more than 5%.
as of January 1st, we can't raise things more than
Right.
5% a year. So if we are $400 or $500 below where we should be for something right now, or 200, we won't be able to
Right.
get to that point for many years, so.
Okay. Couldn't we have a special town meeting and ask for permission to be able to make the changes necessary to qualify for this in the future, you know, so that we can go up, let's
Right,
say
well,
we could go up 5% per year.
Well, what you're,
Yeah.
so what you're looking for is a one-time boost to get the rate up
In the
to.
village, to a point where it's, and I'm, again, not saying the max of what people, I'm looking at some of the things, like we are, you know, $400 or $500 below what Wiscasset does. Like, and why, it's just because it wasn't raised in past to keep up with things, which is also still in cases, well below what the max we could charge is, the 200%. But if we, as of January 1st, we will not be able to raise any rates more than 5% a year, from my understanding of this law and from what people have told me. So,
So we better raise them.
Well, that could be a problem, because if we can only go up 5% and cost of something that they need to provide the service
Yes.
goes up more than that, we could. find
That's why we
ourselves
wanna
going
be
in
at
the
least-
So you wanna be at the right number to start with.
Right, so what we should do is we should craft an ordinance change that would allow us to go up to the maximum, but not necessarily all at once, right? We could say, you know,
No. So if I hear you right, so let's just use a scenario. Right now, if we charge $500 and we were allowed to charge $1,000, but we're only charging $500, as of January 1st, we're capped at 5%. So 5% of the 500
we
is,
can only raise it by $50 per year.
That's right.
In that case.
or 25, right?
Right.
Right. And so, so what you're saying is you want to get the rates to a, not necessarily to the max, but to a more respectable level, then we're capped at 5% every year.
Yes.
And that's, but that still would take a town
but
meeting
if
approval.
the max is 1,000 now, we're at 500, wouldn't we be wise to ask for permission to go up to $1,000
Yes.
if necessary?
Up to 1,000.
Yes.
We can
That's-
decide.
Up to
that's-
1,000
that's
if
good.
necessary.
And again,
right?
it's, you know,
Because then-
every
then-
medical building, every
Right.
thing
It
has its own
doesn't
set.
mean that we immediately have to double our price, but if we had the authority to go up.
Well, I think it has to be done by the end of the year.
If something happened and all of a sudden we're losing money on the deal,
Yeah.
Yeah, the building company, it has to be done by the end of the year, like, but, the rates, but again, it's, I'm still trying to find the full information. Some of our things, we're at the, and again, that's double what Medicaid, so up to 200% of what Medicaid will pay. That means we'll still get paid the same by Medicaid, it's only private insurance companies that will then be required to actually pay that instead of
Gotcha.
trying to pay what Medicaid pays. You know, so it's,
is this something that other states that, other than just
I
Maine is
have
doing?
no
Because-
idea, this is a Maine legislature thing, legislative?
Well, what, it's like Maine has the, you can't exclude pre-existing stuff like that in Maine,
That's-
and I couldn't get Napa, when I had my Napa stores, I could not buy insurance through the Napa nationwide program because they wouldn't sell it in Maine, because Maine's.
But now, because of the Affordable Care Act, I think that is nationwide now.
Is it
Yeah,
now?
Yeah,
Because I was just
Yeah.
wondering if this
Yeah.
puts us an outlier on the, you know, if Maine is, if
Yeah.
Maine is going up to 200% of, and no other state is doing that, is that gonna mean that a lot of the insurance companies are just gonna pull out of Maine?
Yeah.
No, a lot, that's
I
a
don't think
standard
so.
in many places, I do know that. Maine has had it during, like, for the last 2 or 3 years during COVID. The problem is, some people raised their rates to accomplish that, they didn't know it would go back down, but this new
Okay.
legislation fixes this permanently with the
Gotcha.
caveats that for
okay.
certain things, you know, and again, I'm trying to find like the exact length, because I don't want to present something and then it's like, oh, they changed it, or because this just came out, so.
It's nothing we would have any control over on the local level anyways, but I'm just out of curiosity, you know, I mean, I know that, like I say, for 20 years, I could not buy insurance through the Napa system because they wouldn't sell it in Maine, because Maine had certain criteria that no other state had.
Yeah.
So, next, equipment, the Ideal Airways that I talked about, we have switched over. We're still keeping the old stuff on the trucks, but it was pretty good timing because the pediatric sizes of the tubes, the king tubes we used to use, they were just put a stop use order by the FDA. They're doing a review of manufacturing, so we would have had to buy some alternate anyways. So it was kind of good timing. Those are on the trucks, and everybody has been trained in using them. So we're good to go with those, and we've already had 3 of the other Kings expire that we would have had to pay a lot more for. So it's hopefully that will work out well. Speaking of money, grants, there is a Maine EMS connectivity grant that it's paid for by the the DOT. It's all paid for, there's no matching grants from the town required. Basically, this grant, and they're waiting for the final signatory promise letter on this, would pay to have wireless routers, antennas, FirstNet, other connectivity equipment in every licensed EMS vehicle in Maine, which means our 2 ambulances will get wireless routers, antennas, all this stuff. It also is a technology that ties into vehicle to infrastructure. So you go to road signs on 295, the ambulance is approaching with lights and sirens or is beyond it, the road signs will change to warn you that there's emergency vehicles ahead. The cars that now have this technology in them, it will tell the cars, or your phone apps, it will tell that. And that's why the DOT federal is trying to push this. They want better scene safety, you know, on the roads. So this grant is, they're waiting for the signatory. It's installation, everything would be covered by this. We would pay nothing. It would pay for FirstNet, so we're saving money not paying for Verizon, but for the first 2 years. And then there are, you know, monthly fees that are negotiated. The only caveat is that if everything is paid for installation 2 years, after 2 years, the state is trying to get further money because they've committed to this for 5 years to pay for the monthly fees, which at maximum, if you use every service, would be $187 per truck per month at maximum. But if you don't use like the AT&T service, if you choose not to use the wireless antenna service, you still have that equipment on your truck, you still own that. But the fees go down because their focus again is the connectivity to infrastructure, to the signage for road safety. So, and I don't know how much that is. They are supposed to tell us at the end of October before they start calling about seeing about installation, and I will report those numbers as soon as I get them. It would be a future budget thing, it would save us money in the short term, so it would be something to budget for. But they're really pushing it. It's a really good program. I sat through a couple of long Zoom meetings about it, and it's something that just came up recently. Also, the EMS support grants that the state voted for through the Blue Ribbon Commission thing. Supposedly, they will start to distribute some of that money at the end of October. As soon as they figure out exactly how, I don't know how much we're going to get yet. We will get some. They're based on the rurality of the ambulances, how many trucks you have, how many calls per year, things like that. We will get some. This grant is meant to supplement, not replace budget. That's part of the language of it. It's a supplement, so not to override local budgets. But hopefully it will be something we can use to supplement areas where the town just can't afford, like training or other like equipment that the town just can't afford to budget. So, you know, use it wisely in the future.
So one-time purchases?
This is a one-time, no, it's a one-time, yes, dispersal. There's more money coming in the form of grants that you apply for, but the language for that, they haven't even started talking about, so that's gonna be way in the future. And last thing, speaking of training, we're providing monthly trainings, so started back into that. We have another one 23rd of October on the exciting subject of documentation and report writing. But it's something that's important in the job, you know, yeah, very exciting. But, and we're getting credits on the national registry and for state registry for people to help them get recertified, because we have to do a certain number of credits every 2 years, and this helps that. So, and we're getting a lot of participation in that. And that is my way too long report.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right, thanks, Danny. Sean?
I had 5 calls since the last meeting. We're at 162 calls this year. We're on track to probably exceed last year's call rate, probably by 20 calls is my guess. We do probably 10, 15 calls a month. Last year, I think we ended with 171 calls. We'll finish that before October, so just to give a heads up. A lot of that's car accidents, I'm finding car accidents, fire alarms, things like that. Open house is scheduled for the 18th, 5 to 7 here at the station. We've got some pretty good vendors coming for that, lots of outside agencies to assist with that. The school, I've got a couple of folks that are working to set up a fire safety day in the school, the 13th. I'm at Woolwich Central School, so I'm looking forward to getting that back going again. 2023 forestry grants opened up. I'm working on getting some quotes for that, to apply for some more equipment for us for that, out of that grant. I haven't seen the check yet. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Kim, from the state, for our last year's grant, but we should be getting that at some point. Dean and I attended a conference, I guess you call it a conference, workshop. With the Saginaw County EMA hosted today with regional heads of and partnerships. What would you call that?
LEP, Local Emergency Planning Council members, so the local, you know,
Is it that wasn't a table talk?
stakeholders and.
No, it's a new system that the state has just developed.
With FEMA.
To basically see where the county's at as far as emergency response goes, and they go through everything. I'm talking, I mean, we only touched on maybe a tenth today. We were there for 6 hours. But
6 hours?
yeah, it's quite a process. Well, here's the other problem. Our county EMA director has resigned,
Right.
so we just have the one intern right now. So anyway, we've been helping with that. Probably continue to help with that as they push through and progress with that. I have just got the bill from Engine 3. Engine 3 is back in service. Had an alternator let go on it. $2,500 to fix that truck. I just got that bill this afternoon, so I'll submit that on the next week's rotation. But I want to bring it up. I know it's more than 1,000, but it's got to get fixed. So it was the alternator. Just the alternator itself was $1,600 just for the alternator. So it can't be just a Freightliner alternator. The shop tried to put just a Freightliner alternator, and I tried that. They ate that. That's their own problem. It has to be a fire apparatus specifically designed alternator to handle the load that truck puts out on it. So that's why it's so expensive. That bill will cap my truck repair. I'll be over on my truck repair just on that line item. I mean, I'll get money in other accounts, but that'll be my $11,000 right there.
It's not
Truck repair.
catastrophic.
I still have plenty of other accounts, but just I am waiting for a quote on tires. Inventory needs 4 tires before winter. The drive tires are 24 years old, and they're just about shot. They're not gonna, it's been recommended to me by several operators that they get replaced before winter, so. Waiting on that quote, that'll be anywhere from $500 to $600 a tire. Yeah, and that's what I have.
Anybody have any questions? None? All right, thank you. Old business, consent agreement, Harris Whitehead and Amy Street.
Yeah, so I've been in discussion with Harris and Martha, and you guys have a copy of the draft. And they did fill in some of the blanks, obviously. And I think it's consistent with what we've done in the past, but what's the board think?
I'm happy with what we've got here. You know, we could date it and sign it tonight if they wanted to, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't have any objection to it. I mean, I think you signed it on behalf of the town anyway, right?
Yep.
Anybody notice, the only thing that I talked to them about is, if you notice, it doesn't talk about a different page, it talks about a document number at the top, but they've sent a copy of the paperwork, and that's what it is, and it doesn't seem to be, and did you read it?
Weird.
That is the booking page.
Okay. well,
That's the booking page.
The 2020R?
Yeah, that's how they
Just the
put it
way.
now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
a
new?
booking page,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh,
Yeah, that's a
just to
booking page.
confuse us.
All right,
I
yeah,
know.
okay. Did you notice anything, Kim, that stuck out as,
I have not read this all the way through.
were you, I looked at the ones that, we've done a couple in the last couple of years there, similar language.
Who did the consent agreement?
Right?
Who did the consent
Well, I
agreement?
actually took it down, I just kind of worked on it a little bit, and then sent it down. Well, if you remember, we did David's, and we did the, I mean, it's really a protection for them,
Right.
if we all agree, and, I think we heard what Kristen had said, but I don't know, is that totally is consistent with what we've done with other people, so I think it's,
Again, I have no problem with it. I think it is, it's pretty much boilerplate, what we've always used in the past, and it's simple and directly to the point. Basically says that we, that you folks are gonna pay us $500, cover the cost of this, and we will say that we're not going to pursue any violation of the setback or anything, as long as you don't expand the addition further.
So we don't know if number 7 has been, I mean, is that the one, do you have a copy of it?
No.
Oh, due to the lack of survey for either property, why didn't answer, met with their neighbor to review the proposed addition at that time, and it talks about, at that time, the neighbor indicated approximately where the boundary line was and verbally approved the proposal. After the neighbor obtained a boundary line survey over a year later, it was discovered that the addition may have been inadvertently placed within the side yard setback 15 feet plus or minus from the boundary line presented by the neighbor. Do we know if that's the same understanding?
well, we know that, we know that the meeting we had, it was just,
Yeah, I
it
can't
was
remember.
like 14.9 feet, right?
Okay.
Is whatever, so that would be the 5 point plus or, 5
Okay.
plus or minus. This is still on their property, but obviously
Right.
could be.
I just want to make sure that we're representing
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they also think is,
Well, it's,
Okay.
I do, and, yeah.
okay.
Well, nobody's making the claim that the building is of it on anybody's property
No.
other than their property.
No. I'm not,
It may be too close to the
no, I'm
setback.
not saying that, I just wanted to make sure that the verbiage there sort of indicates what everybody seems to have agreed to.
That to me sounds accurate. And even if the second sentence was off a little, the end run is, okay, there was a survey done after the building was built.
Okay.
I think we all heard that.
Yeah,
We agreed.
okay.
And then I think we also confirmed that, what I heard anyways, and I think I asked it was, do you want these folks, you really want us to have these guys tear the building down?
Right.
And it was no.
Right, right, no,
I mean,
that's not
Well,
here.
if you look at number 6.
no, but
Yeah.
what I meant was,
And if you look at number 6, it says that Whitehead and Amesbury will revise per an unseen boundary line survey obtained by their neighbor. I mean,
Right.
they have never shared that with either, they've never shared the entire survey with us or them.
right, if we go over the facts, it's not a
Okay.
the boundary survey is not recorded, right?
Right,
And we haven't been
Okay.
privy to the whole thing.
Alright.
We've seen the line. I mean, I think this is, I mean, they came, after that meeting, they approached us and said, we would like to pursue this. And I think it's,
okay.
So motion to,
so moved to have David sign it.
okay, those in favor? Okay. You folks prepared to sign it tonight? We have a notary here, so,
I brought my checkbook.
okay, so this will be 4th day. October 2023.
I mean, and for the record, we're actually exceeding what the town attorney said.
Right, oh, I know that,
So
I know.
I feel like, so I feel like we're well covered, I think.
All right. I'll let them date it and sign it, and you can. Okay. Okay, while they're signing that, let's move on. RSU 1 warrant, motion would be in order to approve the signing the warrant for the RSU 1 election.
So moved.
Which is
It's
what,
November 7th.
It's,
for the board?
yes,
Okay.
Tuesday, November 7th, for the 1 Woolwich resident position for a 3-year term and 1 Bath resident position for a 3-year term. I believe we only vote for the Woolwich one.
No, we actually can vote on both of them. It's
Can
very weird the way the school board sets it up, but.
Okay,
So, moved and seconded. I
Yes.
guess.
23.
So this is
Those
part
in
of November
favor?
7th?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those in favor of signing this, okay? And unless Kim has something under the other, do you have anything under old business other or new business other? We do not,
Oh, it's 2 quick things. I
okay?
know where you're going. One of them is, would the board object to, we talked about, we want to get that property on the market at some point. Should, with the next meeting, should we meet prior to the meeting with Rick Bisson or somebody?
I think we should.
I mean, I do too, and I think we told folks we were gonna do that.
Yeah.
So you want me to reach out and set up a meeting
Set
at
up a meeting.
5 o'clock or whatever?
Yeah, 5 o'clock before the next meeting.
Yep, the other thing, oh, go ahead. No,
Did you want to take any action on the EMA director?
I think we need to advertise that position. We
Um,
never heard from, no.
Well, there was a change we wanted to make to that description.
Right, we're gonna add 45 days
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get those done.
And then I'll go downstairs and get my
Well,
stamp on it. make it-
With that change, we could take I'd entertain a motion to accept it with that change, and then we could advertise the position.
Yeah, I just feel like we obviously waited for this individual, we've gone long enough, and maybe we should.
Kim, on this,
It's a WEMA director.
Yeah.
women director, yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna, where it says must have completed at least the following, and it's IS 100, 200, 700, we're gonna
45 days?
within 45 days, and then
Okay.
the next one will be must complete as soon as practical after appointment. So with that language change,
If you guys agree, we,
motion to accept it,
yeah, I mean, I think we all agree, right? Yeah, so moved.
okay?
Okay.
Those in favor? Okay, if you could get that typed up with the correction there, and then we'll advertise the position. See if anybody wants to work for $600 a year. I'm sure we're gonna have a dozen applicants within an hour.
Yeah. So one final thing, Kim, real quick, you are also our 911 addressing officer.
Absolutely.
Would you be interested or agreeable?
I'm not gonna be the WEMA director, so.
No. We were thinking about maybe seeking out a person for that position.
That would be
I
fabulous.
mean, we're asking, you know, and you could still be the assistant, because thank you for being the assistant, because you had to take you over, but would we do a little research and find somebody?
Sure,
I
absolutely.
don't know, what do you guys think? Right now, we're down to her, I'm grateful that you took the training when you did, even though you know it all, but obviously,
I mean, I know I joked about it earlier, but I'd be interested in doing that, if
I'm not gonna do it, so.
that's, is that,
Chris actually has said, because he's doing it now,
Oh,
and he
Oh.
said that,
oh, good, okay.
yeah, because Amber used to do it, and,
oh,
So is he
Yeah.
trained, is he all trained?
so
yeah,
maybe
he's doing it in Georgetown.
But he can't do it here, right?
Why can't he?
Well, does he?
He's a
Does he
code enforcement
want to?
officer.
No,
He's
no.
offered to help.
No, we can make him do it, but then didn't Erica say that the login, the training, and does he have to have a separate thing to do it in Woolwich from another town? I got confused about that. Remember she made the statement that, good thing nobody entered any addresses under Tom because it's
Oh.
federal law. I don't know anything about it.
Well, the program's changing now,
Oh,
so I have to take a new training.
oh,
They're getting rid of the geolinks, so.
okay. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna do.
great, great. It's always something.
I don't know, are you doing it or here or is he doing it here?
He's doing it home on his laptop right now.
For Woolwich?
No, I'm doing it all. Chris just offered to help.
I see.
He has not done
Done
anything
In
yet.
Woolwich, yeah.
Right,
I got
is
you.
he interested in taking over?
I can talk to him about it.
Okay, if not, yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Talk to
Yeah.
him, if he's not, we'll try to find somebody
Okay.
who wants to be a 911 addressing officer.
All right,
We just wanted to help
Nobody
alleviate
seems
some of
to
the,
want me to do
no.
it.
Allison,
okay.
you've got facts to look.
What else we got? I gotta get
That's it, I
downstairs.
think that's it.
I gotta get upstairs.
You have to learn the entire composition of all the COVID vaccines
I
before
know.
you do anything else.
All right,
I move to adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
all right, perfect.
You need to write it on.
Yeah, I do, for somebody.
All right, I gotta go make copies.
All
You
right.
guys bring mine, bring in